Gerrand, one of the first things you told me when you got here was, as much as you enjoyed Missouri and the whole SEC atmosphere, you were glad to be back home because you're just a hillbilly at heart. How much are you enjoying the fact that this is going to be a camo house?
Oh, I'm loving it, man. All my friends ready. All got their riding lawnmowers and tractors ready. So I'm enjoying it, man. I hope we got some big surprises, with Coach Berry coming.
Do y'all know about the surprises?
I don't know nothing. Coach Berry keeps us in the dark. He doesn't tell us anything.
So Coach said he went back and started watching high school tape for their quarterback that's going to be going. What have you seen out of this quarterback and having to go back and watch high school tape?
I mean, you watch the guy. He broke out Tim Tebow's record. That said enough. But you turn on his high school film, he's an athlete. And most of all, he's a winner. I mean, guys like that come around a couple times in a generation. And it's an honor to play against him, to be honest with you. What he has done in high school quarterback, coming to an AQ conference and start as a true freshman, like, the guy's good. I can't wait to compete against him.
He's coming in as a true freshman, but like I was telling Coach Berry, they're starting a true freshman center as well. What kind of problems, and obviously you'll be a big part of causing some of the problems, could arise from having two very young players kind of being the core of that offense?
I mean, you really can't depend on problems coming from there. I mean, sure, you want to have the center quarterback exchange be perfect. Probably won't there every time, but both these guys are D1 athletes in an AQ conference. I mean, think Elite Terry, I think he was like the number 4 center in the nation. So, I mean, he definitely has the talent in the building. For I've seen him, he's a hell of an athlete. Heck of an athlete. He's a heck of an athlete. I mean, the guy, he can snap the ball and pull, and you just doesn't see that in too many college centers. I mean, this day and time, I went against first round, second round centers, and I don't think they had the ability to pull like this guy can. So it's going to be a unique challenge, but I'm definitely looking forward to it.
There's one guy on this roster that knows about the history of this program. It's you. You know what kind of opportunity this is, I guess, for this program, not only opening up at home, but also an opportunity to kind of get these fans on board with you, correct?
Yes, sir. I mean, it's a huge, huge opportunity, especially, coming from Rayville, what ULM been through and where we came from, how far we've come along. And this just presents an ultimate opportunity to show basically the nation, show the area what I believed in coming to high school when Colbert recruited me, what Tyler Kane, Trey Hunter, Lorenzo Jackson, what we all bought into coming out of high school, and it's coming to fruition right now.
How is the atmosphere that you guys kind of saw in the Baylor game, and I think a lot of people are kind of thinking that it'll be pretty much replicated in this with the camo out theme. How has that kind of big game prepared you to play in another big game at the stadium, an opportunity that usually non-AQ teams don't have?
I mean, it really doesn't prepare you for anything because every team is different, The Baylor atmosphere was, booming that year. Then we traveled to OU, coming as an underdog in there, that was booming. So, every team presents a different atmosphere. You just can't really just say, hey, this game experience is going to tell me it's going to be like this or that. It's new. You just got to be prepared for it and ready for anything.
Talking to Cody Robertson yesterday, he was saying that he's been here 4 years, you've been here 4 years, and even now it still surprises him the things that Coach Rabbit pulls out of his hat as far as game plans and the things that he throws at y'all. And some things this week could be completely different than anything y'all been thrown the last 4 years. So, and like Coach Berry said, with this defense, it's really hard for a lot of teams to go up against, especially like a true freshman type quarterback. So how exciting is it just to kind of run? I know you talked about how much fun it is with all the blitzes and stuff, but just constantly having new things thrown at you that kind of makes y'all really excited every week to try and implement this new game plan.
Well, definitely, it's never a dull day in the office, Coach Redford. Other thing, you just gotta know your playbook, know the concepts, because he will call a play that he ain't called in 5 years. Make reference to the Troy game last year. He called one play like he have never called. We knew it because it's in the playbook. We know our plays, but he has never called it in the game ever. It was his first time never doing it, but we were able to execute the play and run it. Just because we know our concepts and we know our philosophies. And that's what he depends on. He trusts us as being a mature defense, having the experience to be able to do, so we can make adjustments on the fly. For example, played Wake Forest last year. I mean, we was prepared for one offense, and they came out with something totally different. I mean, like the first quarter, we made adjustments. We couldn't wait till halftime because they did not run nothing what we practiced, and we was able to execute and get it done just because we know our concepts and we know our philosophies.
Coach Perry said he's going to sleep well this week. How are you going to sleep? And then second of all, do you have class on Thursday? And what will that be like for you?
Well, I'm special. My schedule worked out to where I don't have in classes. My grades was good enough because Barry allowed me to have online classes. So I mean, it won't affect me much. But one thing Coach Barry does, he goes over every fine detail. Everything is covered. I mean, there will be no distractions, no loss of sleep because we're going to be in goal over 10, 14 times by the time it comes along.
This being the first home game to open the season since 2007, the defense is so used to being on the road and having the home team's offense, maybe the crowd being quiet because that way their offense can listen to all the different cadences and stuff. This time, y'all are going to have to be the ones who are going to be with the loud crowd because they're going to be trying to throw off, Wake Forest offense. And so do you have to adjust a little bit about, okay, crowd noise? Because, like I said, usually it's kind of quiet for the home team because y'all open on the road every single year in a hostile environment.
The adjustment would be very, very small. Cause like I said, Coach Barry has went over that, I mean, so many times leading up to this. I mean, we play in crowd noise every day at practice. So it definitely won't affect us any. I mean, and Coach Referee, we implemented a new, training regiment during practice to also help us with the crowd noise and trying to get everything executed correctly. So, I mean, that's going to aid in our adjustments, too.
One question about Pete Thomas. You heard a lot about him before he showed up. What's been your impressions of him so far?
He's a jerk, No, I'm joking. I love the guy. I love the guy. I mean, his attention to detail, his hard work. He came in being a leader, He's a funny guy. We were working out, and I tried to see what his heart was. I took away from him. Pete stepped up to me, So he's a heck of a leader. I mean, he stepped into that leadership role right then and there. His first time he came on campus, he was hey, let's go do 707, let's go do this and that. It was no timid about him. I mean, he's definitely a field general.
Has a quarterback ever stood up to you before?
Coaching, but only with jokes. He knew who the boss was.
That crowd noise last night at practice was like some kind of different music y'all had going on. Was that your soundtrack?
No, that's Coach Barry. That's all his CDs. It ain't none of mine. I like country, so.
Any other questions for Gerrand? Thank you.
Man,
Thank you.